Beep, 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 beep. Welcome. Become a warrior teacher. Buy me a coffee. Become a YouTube. Just right. You know, the usual. Yes. That's you. Share. Subscribe. Share. Put on your notifications so you can know when I'm going to wibble. And I'm going to wibble this morning. What is a question for you? At what point are you classed as a veteran in this absolutely dreadful fight? At what point, he says, are you classed as a veteran? Answers in the dubris, right? Stick it in the comments. At what point are you classed as a veteran? That's the first question. The second one is, have you filled out my survey yet? It's so funny watching people do that one. There's a trick question in there. It gets everybody. Not all of them. Like one person said, I watch enough of your videos to get all these right. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you've been paying attention, which is great. And it's just for fun, for God's sake. I've had 500 replies. It's just for fun. Keep going. If I get to 1,000, I'll do a report on it. Because it's just nonsense. But it's fun. Now, so I ask again, at what point does one become a veteran in this? There has to be a point. And when currently I judge that point by when the first person puts up a picture of those skeletal people on a roller coaster going past all the happy faces. It's like, these are the people that have been in it a while. These are the newcomers. And I think what I've got on my hands here today is what seems to be a relative newcomer. I can't confirm that, but it certainly feels that way. And I think we have to be very careful about these newcomers because they come and they're often not armed well or they don't understand the situation. And I think this article absolutely shows that when newcomers come along, it's probably a good idea if you understand what the problems are. It's like it's been written in the past by somebody who's just sort of gone, what's going on over there? I'm sorry, it has. And it's been written by a guy called Kenny. Kenny Farkey Harrison. That's you, isn't it, Kenny? Farkey Harrison. Have I pronounced that right? Farquharson? Farkey Harrison. I don't know. Farquharson. I do hope so, Kenny. I think it's Farquharson, isn't it? Kenny Farquharson, who has written How the Trans Row Will End in Compromise. Right. No, Kenny, it won't. Right? So that's what he said, right? Lady Dorian has offered a necessary middle way on a debate that is scarring public discourse. What Kenny's talking about there when he mentions Lady Dorian is the Scottish ruling that in law men can be classed as the sex of female. He thinks that's a compromise. Right, okay. By comparison, he says, debates about Brexit and Scottish independence are akin to a course of kumbaya at Brownie Camp. There is something about the trans issue that brings out the irrational, visceral, the absolutist. And both sides hate nothing more than when somebody suggests a bit of give and take. That's beyond insulting. That's beyond insulting, right? It's not okay to write that first paragraph and say, there is something irrational about the trans issue that brings out the irrational, the visceral, the absolutist, and both sides hate nothing more when somebody suggests a bit of give and take. That first paragraph is designed to shield you, because by responding to it in a way that you don't want people to respond, it means that they proved your point for you. Clever, Kenny, because I don't know whether that's what you meant to do, but that's what you've done. So I'm going to tell you, I don't care what you think. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning with your first paragraph. It's probably enough to keep me going for the next 6 minutes. So let's see, shall we? There is something about the trans issue that brings out the irrational. Okay, right. So let me just ask some questions based around this, Kenny. Is it irrational to want to prevent homophobes from converting gay children based on gender ideology? Is that irrational, Kenny? Is it? Is it irrational as a woman to want same-sex care, whether you're in there for whatever it may be and you choose to have it, so, or whether you're somebody who requires 24-hour care by somebody else? Is it rational for women to want that? Is it? Is that irrational, is it? Is it irrational for us to want to make sure that children have a basis in reality rather than fantasy? So we'd like to stop them from teaching this absolute cobblers in school. Is that irrational? Is it irrational to want to keep them away from cultists who believe in all sorts of nonsense and have infiltrated our society from the top to bottom? Is that irrational, Kenny? Where's the compromise that you seem to see in this? Where's the compromise when our entire system has been infected by critical social justice? Where's the compromise, Kenny? Where is it? Visceral. Let's talk about visceral. I'm told that I'm same gender attracted at 59 years old, that I haven't met the right girl yet. You bet my response is visceral, because my response to homophobia is always visceral. Where's the compromise, Kenny? Yep. Do you think it's women's responses are visceral when they walk into the toilets and there's a great big 6'1" bloke LARPing as a woman in a pair of suspenders and stockings? Do you think the response is visceral, Kenny? Where's the compromise? You think it's absolutist to say that men can't be women and women can't be men? Is that what you think it is? So what do I do with this LARPing woman, right, with hair and removed breasts and a fake penis? What do I do with her, Kenny? Do I have to include her? Where's the compromise? I'm not compromising with unreality, Kenny. I'm not. And then your third word in that first paragraph is absolutist. There's nothing more absolutist than male and female. But it's not absolutist in the way you're using the term absolutist, which is to, in essence, to state that there is a group of people that are against this who are as deranged as any other absolutist in the park. That's what you mean, isn't it? Those that won't allow a nice liberal cup of tea and a ginger nut conversation about whether or not women can be men and men can be women and children should be sterilised and medicated, and whether or not we should start upending our entire society on the altar of gender ideology, and for that matter, critical race theory and queer theory and every other horror of critical social justice. And you think that to be absolutist against that is a bad thing, Kenny? Where's the compromise? I was surprised when I read this, and I imagine many of you will when you read it too, that somebody comes out of the cupboard, out of the closet, no doubt quaffing a particularly good wine while mulling over what to write, and then writes a piece in which it accuses those of us that understand this on a level that this person has no understanding of at all, of being those three things in the first paragraph of an article that is designed to appeal to the fetishistic and the downright wicked. Where's the compromise, Kenny? I suggest that you do your research. I suggest that you look deeper. I suggest that you find out more, and I suggest you speak to people before you start saying that there is a compromise with a misogynistic, homophobic, physically and mentally dangerous tendril of critical social justice, a horrific, far-left, insane belief system based on power and oppression and intersectionality and every other horror that has come out of the academy. I suggest that you do some work before you sit there and pontificate about who it is that in your first paragraph you would deem to be the three things that you did. How dare you? I'll see you later. Not you, Kenny. I mean everybody else. Ta-ra.